on to our next segment, which is going to be on Dragon Ball Super Chapter 78.
Yes. So, God, the fact that we're going to be getting Marvel content every week and this comes every month is kind of jarring.
Yeah. I'm just glad because I love Marvel, but I really love Dragon Ball. And
Yeah.
so getting Dragon Ball content at all is great. And this chapter, um, I'm not gonna lie, I was hyped for what this chapter could entail, but was a little let down
I'm gonna
by
be.
the execution.
So here's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah.
We just got out of a huge, several chapter spanning fight between Granolah, Goku, and Vegeta.
Yeah.
Then we got the episode, or not episode, the chapter after, where
Bardock.
it was a lore dump. I don't want to say lore dump in a derogatory sense because this was very good lore that we learned as far as Granola's connection to Bardock.
Yeah.
And
And
then we
even the
get
Heater's connection to Bardock, why Gas hates being on Planet Cereal, even how Leek got his scar.
yeah. And we only get a one chapter break between this fight and now we are expecting Goku, Vegeta, and Granola to fight Gas.
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like I guess I felt
Like
we kind of jumped into it a little too fast.
like as far as the plot is concerned, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Just it doesn't mean that it was executed right.
yeah, like in universe, it makes sense for this to go by so fast. I mean, there's no good reason in universe for things not to go by fast because this has gone exactly to Alek's plan. Everything Alek has planned for has gone exactly his way. So it makes sense that it's going by fast, but I feel like we needed a little bit more of a breather, like a little bit more for Monito and Granola to
Yeah.
talk through what just happened.
Give them some time to heal from the battle.
Yeah. Also, we still don't even know how oatmeal became a thing.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, we don't even know how oatmeal became a thing, and here we are. We didn't even get to see Gas versus Bardock. We just kind of know that Bardock beat his ass, which Bardock committing child abuse means, once again, not a good person. Gas is still, canonically, Gas is still considered a child up until this chapter. So when he beat up Gas nearly 50 years ago, that was a very, very young child. And he still effortlessly beat the shit out of him with no moral qualms.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was a little disappointed that we kind of just jumped straight back into the action. I kind of wanted a bit more of a breather, a bit more of talk between the four Goku,
Yeah.
Vegeta, Monito,
Like,
and Granolah. Even Oatmeal could have joined the discussion.
yeah. Like, so it's weird, especially because we're also seeing a repeat from the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc where the villains are heavily relying on the Dragon Balls. And not that that's new for the franchise, it's just
I think it's just. I
like
think what's.
that's what the villains are using to power themselves up, and it's the second time in a row we've seen this.
But also, this is also like the third time in Super where the villain has successfully got the Dragon Balls and gotten their wish. Because Zamasu got his wish, Moro got his wish, and now Alec gets his wish.
And also the revival of Frieza.
Make it four.
That's because still Resurrection F is technically canon to Super.
I mean, even though it was a Dragon Ball Z movie, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it is kind of weird after really just decades of Dragon Ball villains not getting the Dragon Balls outside of King Piccolo
Yeah,
and Garlic Jr. and Dr. Cochin in their respective movies. We don't really.
like
This is our.
in canon,
In
even.
canon, the only person before Super to successfully use the Dragon Balls as a villain is King Piccolo and Emperor Pilaf right before the start of the Android Saga.
Yeah,
And even then, that was a joke.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, yeah, seeing the villains just get the Dragon Ball so easily is kind of like,
Like,
oh,
I was about to go into like a discussion of like, oh, this could be a chapter spent like recovering, and then they realize like they start to put the pieces together and what's going on. He explains how he got his power, and then it all clicks in their heads. Like, or mainly clicks in Granolah and Vegeta's head, because let's face it, with Goku.
yeah. I mean, does Goku even know that Granolah got it from a wish up until this point?
What I'm implying is that Granolah reveals how he got his power.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think Goku and Vegeta knew that Granolah got it via wish yet.
No, they reveal like he says it right up to no, he learns it as soon as Gas reveals that. But
Yeah,
what I'm implying is like in this fictitious world where we got
yeah,
a more well executed chapter, they could have spent this chapter healing, conversing, realizing everything that's happened in the plot so far, and then it's a race to uncut to get the Dragon Balls. But then we run into the problem where we already went through this before.
yeah. Where I feel like in your hypothetical situation, the ending of the chapter should be they encounter Gas and it is his powered up form.
Like
Like they're way too late now.
like it would be. I'm trying to think of a moment where it's like that, even in the movies where they run up to the villain and he's all powered up because of the Dragon Balls, like, and they realize, oh shit.
I don't think we've ever actually in Dragon Ball encountered a situation where by the time the
Like, I'm
villains
trying to
get their
think.
by the time the heroes get their shit together, it's already too late.
Yeah,
Like normally when in Dragon Ball when the villains get their shit together, it's
it would be the revival of King Buu. The revival of King Buu is exactly what I'm thinking of. Like,
who the fuck is King Boo?
or Kid, not King Buu. Jesus Christ,
I'm like
Majin Buu. I'm
I
thinking
was like, the fuck you mean King Boo?
Majin
You
Buu.
mean Luigi? You mean Luigi's Mansion?
No, no, Majin. Okay, I am in a serious mood to play some Mario Party Superstars right now. Do not judge me.
Fine.
I I've been seeing a lot of
Yes.
the horror map, so do not judge me right now.
Side note, if you could ever give me money, please give me money to buy either Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or Dragon or Mario Party Superstars because both those games look so much fun.
But anyway, Majin Buu.
Yes.
The revival of Majin Buu is where they realize, oh shit, we are fucked.
Yeah. Well, even then, I hesitate to say that because one, that wasn't less because the main characters were getting played and they realized too late. That was Vegeta being an asshole. And two, Goku could have killed Majin Buu, but he was like, "I'll let Gohan and Goten do it." Meanwhile, Gohan was already fucking destroyed. But yeah, I get what you mean because that is the closest we've gotten. And I'm trying to think of maybe another series that we've gotten where it's like the main villain's plans have come to fruition right as like the main characters have
And
realized.
and also you could bring up Cell's perfect or his transformation to his perfect form,
But I wouldn't say that's less of the
or more
heroes.
from the perspective of Vegeta and Trunks.
I wouldn't even say from Trunks' perspective. That would mainly be from Vegeta.
Mm.
Everyone else knew that if Cell got perfect, it was over. Vegeta was just like, I'm perfect though.
Yeah, but again, us labeling these examples,
Yeah.
we are just running into repetition because the Galactic Patroller Prisoner arc was pretty original to its credit. Like
Yeah.
this was like we haven't uncovered a lot of it because this was before our podcast, but it was a really good arc. There aren't really any downsides to it, really,
It
outside from a few like nitpicky things.
Yeah, and like I thought it was like really interesting when that arc was happening because of just the various different dynamics we got and the various different types of like adventures we saw. Like we had a solo-esque train scene between the Macarini gang and Marus, which was really cool.
Like, because we talked about it at the time, it was probably heavily inspired by the scene in Solo.
Yeah. And then afterwards when we get to Namek, we have like Goku and Vegeta being stronger than the villain, but his abilities are just better.
Yeah.
So that would win them the fight. But then we get Majin Buu as the Grand Supreme Kai fighting, and it's completely different. in the sense that because he's not affected by the magic, he is able to beat Moro because Moro wasn't a physical fighter. He relies on his magic to fight. So that was really cool. And then we get the prisoners show up, and the prisoners attack them while their energy's being drained. Like that was really cool. And then we see Moro just be a fucking kingpin.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, with this, this one has gone by a lot faster. I would say at this point in the arc, we are at the point where Moro made his wish.
Yeah.
But the problem is that
we're only a few chapters in.
Yeah, it's not that we're only a few chapters in, but it's like we've already hit what is considered endgame boss. We all knew Gas was gonna be the big bad. So the fact that we're already here is like, oh. And while, yes, Alec has more plans, he did ask Zuno 10 questions, and we still need to know what he's doing with 7-3's body. We're still kind of like, the confrontation with Gas was kind of the thing we all kind of thought would happen towards the end.
Like, it's pretty much just a repeat of the past few chapters now with Granolah.
Yeah.
As like an ally rather than being like the main antagonist of this little few chapter arc.
Yeah. I will say some positives is one, I love Gas's powers. We finally got something that I've been always wanting to see ever since Salza first appeared in Cooler's Revenge, which was key weapons. Salza was the first one. Then we had Vegito in the Majin Buu arc being our first canon person.
Then we get Goku Black.
We got Zamasu and Goku Black. Then we had Kasuro, and we had Kasuro, Ganos, and why am I forgetting his name? Purina, the Namekian, where they used like blades.
Yeah.
And then we also saw things like Belmud using playing cards. And Kawe using a spear, but those were like so few and far between. I kind of wanted to see a dedicated fighter that uses like constructs. And Gas just came out with everything. He fucking spear throws like a 4-pronged spear into all of Granola's like limbs and like pins him against his ship. Beats the fuck out of Goku with some nunchucks, and then fucking Looney Tunes hammers him across the planet. Like, that shit was straight out of fucking Looney Tunes. He takes like an oversized mallet, like he's Amy Rose, and he's just like, boom! And you're just like, that just happened. Or he takes like a mace, and he just like fucking like hits Granolah in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's actually really cool. I really did like that because it's so unique.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is the first time we've ever seen someone seriously use nunchucks since the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And he used it to literally knock Goku into base.
Because, I mean, we really don't see weapons used a lot in Dragon Ball. I mean, as soon as the power pole has no longer been in use,
the most we get is Trunks' sword.
Yeah.
Trunks' sword and Mai's mystical shotgun.
Because you have no idea how many times that sword has broke.
Counting the movies, dear God. Yeah.
That sword has been broken so many times.
Yeah. And then, and like I said, we got my shotgun that had a scope and was able to snipe Goku Black and shoot his earring. But yeah, so I'm really glad about that. I really like that. The other thing I like is Vegeta making the decision to have Granolah fight Gas.
Honestly, these past two arcs have been very generous to his character development.
Yeah, like I really like how they've been treating Vegeta. Vegeta has been growing so much as a person throughout these past 2 arcs, and him swallowing his pride and knowing that even though he has the opportunity right here, right now, to prove he is the number 1 in the universe, Gas, he felt that it was more appropriate for Granolah as a person to beat Gas, one of the people that was responsible for the death of his entire race and his ongoing trauma.
And mind you, he just went through an ego trip using Ultra Ego against Granolah. Like, he was on top of the world. He was feeling himself. I mean, it could be speculated that it was just for show against Granolah to.
I would say it was for show because he mentions to himself, he's like, I'm sorry, Lord Beerus, but I'm just not that guy anymore. Which
Yeah.
kind of shows that he was trying to hype himself up into that mind state, but deep, deep down, he knows he isn't that person anymore.
Yeah.
Which is why I think he won, made peace with the fact that if Granolah kills him, it's fine. Because he was evil, his people were evil, so there was that, and now where he's like gone further, and he's like, I could prove I'm number one and beat this kid's ass right now, but I feel it's better if Granolah does it, and I think that's huge growth for Vegeta.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like this is a Vegeta that has come so far from killing Nappa because he was worthless to literally picking up his former enemy and turning him into an ally, Goku style.
Yeah.
Because if Granolah turns good, this is entirely on Vegeta. Goku isn't the one that would have turned Granolah good. Vegeta would be, which is a first because I think all the other times villains have turned good or gone from antagonists to protagonists have been because of Goku and his ability to relate to them through fighting. But this is Vegeta's first time. I would honestly say, to be perfectly honest, the main protagonist of this arc is Vegeta, and Goku's the secondary protagonist.
Yeah.
I would say this arc, Vegeta is the main protagonist, given that everything we've been following with the story has been through his perspective.
Yeah, and he's the one that's gotten the most growth. I mean, he got Ultra Ego this arc, which is like I hate the idea that this validates the whole attack, Ultra Instinct, and defense Ultra Instinct theory we got back in the Tournament of Power, which, God, I could not wait for that theory to die.
It was so stupid, but this one, in some ways, it's kind of like that, but not really, because this is a mindset of being about destruction.
Like, it's more nuanced of an ability than just, Goku and Vegeta are going to share different versions of Ultra Instinct that are based on attack and defense, which, dear God, those were
so dumb. Those were so dumb, but I really think Vegeta's the main protagonist. I mean, even from the beginning, he very quickly picked up on things such as, if they're coming from this war-torn world, why is their ship so nice? Or when he lands on the planet, he's like, why is this place all ruined, but that place looks all good? And then even then, he looks down, he sees the footprints, he's like, I've seen these before. And even when he's fighting Granolah and getting the upper hand, I feel we got more from Vegeta's perspective and his mindset in the fight than we got Goku's when he fought Granolah.
Yeah.
When Goku fought Granolah, we really just saw the fight with no dialogue. Yeah. But when Vegeta fought Granolah, we got a bunch of dialogue.
It was so much to the point that the fan base was worried, oh God, these writers are terrible. They are reverting him back to Buu Saga Vegeta, and I'm like, no, these writers are smarter than that. Please have better media analysis than this. Please, for the love of God.
And turns out they didn't revert him back to Buu Saga. They made it 100% known that Vegeta is not that person, and he will not go back to being that person. And there is nothing that will happen that will get him to revert back.
Yeah.
Which I'm really glad, because a main criticism people had about Super, which is how Vegeta never got over Goku like he claimed he did in the Buu Saga. But these past two arcs have really shown that Vegeta is fuck it, I'll do my own thing. Which we first saw with him getting Force Speed, which I think, first of all, we got when he unlocked Super Saiyan Blue Evolution in the Tournament of Power after Goku had Ultra Instinct. That was his first where he's like, you know what, fuck it, I'll do my own thing. Then he got Force Spirit Vision, and now he has Ultra Ego. And even in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, he controls Ki, because he kept getting overloaded by Cumber and Turles. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I was that guy. but I ain't that guy anymore, and you guys aren't gonna make me that guy now. So I would really say that Vegeta is looking to be the protagonist of this arc,
Yeah.
like the main protagonist. Does that mean do I think he's gonna get the final blow on the big bad?
Come
Let's not
on.
get too
It's
crazy
it's
here.
Dragon Ball.
Let's not get too crazy here. But I would say that his perspective is the primary perspective we followed for this arc.
Yeah. Like Vegeta, like even though Vegeta developed a lot, like reconciling the fact that he led a Namekian genocide,
Yeah.
like reconciled with that fact and grew as not only as a person but just his whole outlook was completely different than when he last interacted with Namekians.
Yeah.
But it
And
was
even
still a Goku centric arc.
yeah. Meanwhile with this one has felt more Vegeta centric.
Because at the beginning of the arc we've got Vegeta training with Beerus, him like trying to learn the God of Destruction power and just having like internal turmoil about that, and it all coming to the fight with Granolah.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
Yeah. Um Really all I have left to say is that with this chapter, I kind of wish we got a bit more of a breather before we're right back into the action. But I would be lying if I said that I'm not excited for Granolah versus Gas because I'm entirely excited.
Yeah.
I want to see Granolah with both of his eyes unlocked versus Gas at full power because that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because
I would say that I'm excited, but I am a little exhausted.
yeah, I do feel the exhaust.
Like, where does we're going from one fight to another, where it should have been a fight to a healing to a small encounter to an escape, which will most likely get an escape to heal back up
Yeah.
after this fight, because it's just typical of how shonen anime plots go.
Yeah,
But
because I mean, even in the beginning of the Galactic Patrol Prisoner arc, it was a lot of fun. Moro. Then you had Goku versus Moro. Then you had Goku and Vegeta versus Moro. Then they get knocked out for a couple weeks, but then they wake up and then they go back to fighting Moro. And then Majin Buu joins them, and then it's the Grand Supreme Kai that joins them, and then Marus joins them, and then the wish happens, and then the prisoners attack them,
yeah.
and then after they finally get their ass kicked about 5 times in 5 different fights, we get a period of rest where Vegeta and Ariko go to Yardrat, Goku and Marus go to another hyperbolic time chamber, and the heroes on Earth get their stuff.
But mind you, one difference I wanted to bring up is that in that arc, all hell breaks loose. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got the most wanted criminal in all of the Galactic Patrol jurisdiction, completely setting everything to absolute hell.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, do we really have a motivation besides the Heaters want to do something with it, like against Frieza?
They want to kill Frieza so they can take over his army, which I'm kind of confused about. I want to know what the significance of having Frieza's army is because they are already absurdly rich.
And also, Frieza's army is kind of torn apart right now.
Yeah, I get it because Frieza still is the largest faction in the universe.
Yeah, that is fair.
Even though the golden years have long since passed, you can't deny that man still has a massive army.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want to know what more can they gain because they're already rich. They are the second biggest information brokers in the universe next to Zuno. So I'm guessing they just
You're not thinking like a capitalist there. You can always have more.
Yeah,
You can
Actually, yeah.
always have
That
more.
when you say it like that, that you honestly don't even need more motivation. Actually, they're number two. They want to be number one. Actually, yeah, no, that makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah, again, you're not thinking like a capitalist.
Yeah,
You don't understand how criminal factions organize themselves.
yeah. My brain has been turned off from capitalism for so long that I kind of forgot that. Right, people do evil shit because they're greedy. Yeah, sometimes you're just a greedy capitalist, and that is Alec. Alec is a greedy capitalist that is basically using his family for genocide so he can get more money
Yeah,
and clout.
yeah,
Literally, he said he wanted clout.
yeah. With this chapter, I think it's safe to say that it was a good chapter, but I am very like afraid for what will come after because I am just I just want something different, and I see too many similarities from the past arc, and I wanted more room to breathe.
Yeah.
And the fact that we only had a lore dump chapter and half of a chapter to recover.
Yeah. For me, I can see where this is definitely going to diverge, but I'm still like, I need time to breathe from that last fight because the Goku, Vegeta, and Granolah fight was long and it was good because it was some of the best fight choreography that we have gotten in Super so far.
And some of the best character development, like we mentioned, for Vegeta.
And also just the best, like, unique fighting styles. Like, we have never had a character that was good at sniping and good at hitting your pressure points. We have
With
Goku.
the exception of Hit.
But even then, Hit only can do it because he stops time. Granolah is just that fast, and he can see that well. And then we have Goku, who's learning how to use Ultra Instinct in his Super Saiyan forms, and he's also learning how to use different aspects of it, such as the dodging or the body hardening. And then we have Vegeta, who is using Hakai in very unique ways, such as like throwing up rocks and using Hakai, or like luring him to different areas and Hakaiing areas so like it will create massive amounts of like smoke, so he can just like come out and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So even though I know Gas versus Granolah is going to be another unique fight, I'm just like, my brain can't handle that. It's going to be crazy, and I need a little bit more of a break before we get into guy who will seize every single one of your pressure points and can hit it with pinpoint accuracy versus guy that can create weapons and will fucking destroy you with them.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways, I think my review of it, if I had to give it a number, I'd give it like a 6.5.
I'm willing to say 7.
Yeah, 6.5, 7 out of 10. Like, it's not bad. I just think it's moving a little too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we moved out of our media section.
We get to end the fun part of our section. I'm sorry, but we've got a lot to follow up on and stuff we really want to talk about.
Wait, one more thing. One more thing that I forgot to bring up. So this is still part of the Dragon Ball section. We did get a new Dragon Ball game announced called Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is basically Dead by Daylight Dragon Ball Edition.
Yeah.
You are literally playing as humans that get chased by Cell, and the point of the game is don't get killed. If you get killed, he gets stronger, and it makes it harder for the other players to not die.
Yeah,
which is an interesting concept, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, the game is supposed to be set in the Xenoverse universe.
Yeah.
So, which is enough justification for its existence.
Yeah. I wonder if there's gonna be a story plot, because the main characters are created characters, plus the Dragon Ball era Bulma and Oolong.
Yeah.
So, I wonder what the story is gonna be. It looks interesting enough. I like the idea of a horror-esque game based on Dragon Ball, because the Cell saga, like especially the Imperfect Cell arc, where he first appeared in like Ginger Town, or was it Ginger or Nikki Town?
Oh god.
One of the two towns. He went to both. I just don't know which one he started in. Whichever one. That when he first appeared and Piccolo came on the scene and it looks like the fucking Rapture was probably the creepiest Dragon Ball had been at the time.
Oh yeah.
And has been since, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Now, I I wonder how Mai blessed that rocket launcher to be able to make Cell flinch because I mean
oh yeah, you only can fight him with rocket launchers, right?
yeah, like you can escape with time machines and Saiyan pods, and like that's all we
Yeah,
see.
no one but Cell can use Ki. That's so broken.
Which I
Like
mean,
that's so broken. He gets to use the Kamehameha and fly. Everyone else has to run and use rocket
which
launchers.
I mean, in universe makes sense up until you get to the rocket launchers.
Where you're like, bitch, Goku's been bulletproof since episode 1. Cell has been millions of times stronger than Goku by this point. A rocket launcher ain't doing jack shit.
Yeah.
At least make it a smoke bomb. I mean, we saw that worked on someone like Zamasu and Goku Black. But a fucking rocket launcher? That's like hitting with a fucking cotton ball. Anyways, I wanted to bring that up because it's interesting and it's unique, and I'm glad that we're getting more Dragon Ball games that are experimenting with
Yeah.
different aspects. Like we had Dragon Ball Fighters, which was a 3D no,
No, two and a, two and a half D.
a 2.5D team fighter in the vein of Marvel vs. Capcom, which was really cool. Then we had Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which was a more traditional RPG. And now we're getting Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is basically a game like Dead by Daylight, like a survival horror game.
Yeah.
So I really like where Dragon Ball is at as a franchise moving forward because it seems we're getting a lot more experimentation.
I mean, they release a Dragon Ball related game once a year at this point.
Yeah.
So it's
But
there's
for,
plenty of room for experimentation.
yeah, I mean, for a while we were kind of stuck in a rut where it was just games that retread
Like we got
Dragon Ball with a different fighting engine between the Budokai Tenkaichi series, the
Raging
Raging
Blast,
Blast, the Ultimate Tenkaichi
the
series.
original Budokais.
Yeah, like for a while we had those and the sister series, which was like the Legacy of Goku's, the Attack of the Saiyans, the Supersonic Warriors, like RPG type things. So I'm really glad that we're really getting like more unique things with Dragon Ball, both story wise and video game wise and movie wise, with Dragon Ball Superhero also looking to be another unique take on the franchise.
Yeah.
Anyways, now we're done with our media segment.
And now we get into the important stuff.
So, which one do you want to start?